Hey, well, I was in the middle of making my dinner and my lunch for tomorrow, and I thought this would be a good time to do a little talk. Because I haven't done one of these in a while. So, I'm going to make my lunch for tomorrow, and it's a turkey sandwich. I have the turkey. I cut up some lettuce, slice the tomato in a mandolin, and the onion in a mandolin also, and some pickle, and something that I like to put on my sandwiches, some jalapenos. Give it some flavor and a little bit of spice. Plus, some pepper and some salad dressing. Alright. So, why talk about things that get better over time while I'm making a sandwich for tomorrow? Guess what? This sandwich that I'm making right now. Oh. Tomorrow, it's going to taste good because, well, it will have spent a day or a night in the refrigerator, and for some reason, sandwiches that I make for the next day, they taste good the next day. Maybe it's all the flavor, all of the ingredients coming together. And even though they only spend a day or a night together in a sandwich, in a roll, well, they make me happy. Alright, first goes the turkey. Next, what do you think? How about the lemon? So, things that get better over time. Well, certain songs or movies, maybe even books. And the reason they get better over time is when you hear them for the first time, you might like when it comes to a song, you might like the melody or the singer, the sound of it, the kinds of instruments. Maybe the speed, tempo, the beats per minute, things about the song. Maybe the song plays during a special time that you want to remember. Like if you hear the song when you are maybe someplace new. And the song that you hear reminds you of the place that you want to go see or visit. Maybe a song that a friend shares with you, and because your friend likes it, that you like it. Alright, next, the onions. And not just with songs and music, but also movies and TV shows, maybe books. And they get better over time. Especially the songs. And that's because the lyrics, when you hear a song for the very first time, you may not understand or even hear. No, it's not for you. you may not even understand or hear all of the lyrics and the words the first time you hear it, or the first couple times. But maybe later on, after some time has passed, you find that the lyrics are very meaningful. Let's see, how about some pickles next? Some other things that get better over time. Some certain kinds of clothes, like boots. A good pair of boots that fit. Or a coat. Maybe a favorite coat. Maybe a hat. Or a shirt. Or a sweater. Whatever you might wear. Maybe a piece of jewelry. Alright, that's enough pickles. And now for my favorite part, jalapenos. I tend to overdo the jalapenos because I like them so much. But for this, I will keep it balanced if I can get them on there. I'm starting to run out. This jar was full not too long ago, but I put jalapenos on so many things that I'm starting to run out. Other things that get better over time. Well, for me, I have said in the past that art and paintings, certain paintings, for me, get better over time. And I like them more the longer I get to know them. And I get to understand not the painting, not what the painting means, and not the significance of a piece of art based on the time that it was made or the artist. No. What I notice about the painting and the part of the painting that you don't see, like in the series. My favorite series, The Voyage of Life. 4 paintings. But my favorite part is imagining what happens in between them. And because I can now imagine and better understand the parts of life that happen in between the 4 paintings, I like all 4 paintings even more. And the paintings are beautiful. And I still like to look at them. But I've come to appreciate them even more since the last time I talked about them. Isn't that incredible? Something that continues to get better. And there's no stopping it. Or going back, or slowing it down. Or undoing it. I love it more every single day that passes. And I did not think of that the first time I saw the paintings. Just like any other art or painting I saw, I looked at it and I said, "Oh, that looks cool. Oh, look at that! The 4 paintings make a little story." And then here I am, many years later, looking at the exact same paintings and thinking to myself, they make me happy. Chirp up. The chirp tried to get into the turkey. You can have a little bit. Yes. Alright, next the pepper. Just a little shake. And last, this is one of my favorite salad dressing, and it is great on a sandwich. Ken's Simply Vinaigrette Caesar. Just a little bit, not to overdo it, because, like I said, this is going to be for tomorrow. And if I add too much salad dressing, then it makes the sandwich soggy. Okay, now comes the hard part. I'm going to put the ingredients away while I cut and wrap the sandwich. For later. You know what? I forgot one thing. The cheese. Should I add cheese? Well, I've already made the sandwich without the cheese, so you know what? I'm going to leave it alone. Maybe I'll add cheese on the next one. Okay, now comes the tough part. I'm still working on cutting the sandwich without making the sandwich completely fall apart. So, okay, I've got it cut. And now to wrap it. Okay, so the two ends and then the center. Now I've noticed when I opened and made the center that the bread broke. So I'm going to wrap this part first. In some foil. There you go. That's one. X. All right, your turn. Two. Last one. Here we go. And three. All right, you, I'll bring you two for lunch. And you, well, maybe for dinner tomorrow. Yeah. All right, I'll put you away. one of the most important things that gets better with time, over time. Every person, all of us. You want to know why? Every person, just like a book, has a beginning, a middle, and an end. All of our beginnings, well, for the most part, we have a lot of things in common in the beginning. We all start out as kids. And we learn and figure out the world, one day at a time. We learn about school, how to make friends, figuring out things that we like and don't like. And we all learn at different paces, but when you're all kids, you're all learning, figuring it out. And dreaming about what the future and what being a grown-up is like. That's what it's like to be a kid. And then when you get to the middle part, well, now you are a young adult. And you're not a kid anymore. Now you're the grown-up. Kids look up to you now. So you are the one setting the example, showing the kids what is right and what's wrong, and helping them. And we all get there. Because, well, every year you get a year older. You don't get a year younger. And just like with a song, a book, boots, clothes, and art, we are more used to each other and ourselves. And we're not just learning things for the first time, but we are learning them maybe for the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. And they become familiar. Like riding a bike. Or driving a car. Or cooking something. Or telling someone how you feel. And then, at the end of the story, just like with a book, comes the ending. And in the ending, well, that's where all the lessons are. Maybe lessons for ourselves. but more importantly, lessons for others. Those lessons for ourselves. They can be tricky. And it's because those lessons for us, that come from us, many times we were told about them long ago. We just were not open to them. But time passes, and we get better at being open. And so the lessons at the end are not for us. They are for others. And it is our job to pass them down. Even if the person you are passing the lesson down doesn't want to listen. Because they're kids. And they want to have fun. It's our job to pass them down. Because they will eventually grow up to become us. And pass down their lesson. Like a cycle. The voyage of life. That's why I love those paintings.